All right, we are back once again. Hello, VC. How you doing? Hope things are going well with you. My name is Jamie. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully things are good with you here. The weather is taking kind of a turn for the earlier this week it was sunny and hot, and then today and yesterday it has been cold and rainy and cloudy. So yeah, it's fall weather, autumn weather. You don't know how to dress and you don't know what the next day is going to bring. But instead, we'll enjoy some great music. Now, on this one, it's pretty much mainstream picks, nothing really out of the ordinary. 80s, 70s kind of stuff. Some of these are recent finds, and some of these albums I've been listening to. So hopefully you will enjoy, and we'll present them now. So first off, we're going to go back to 1984 on this one. This is Scandal, featuring Patti Smythe. Scandal with Patti Smythe and the album Warrior. And yeah, 1984. Patti Smythe, great singer. And of course, The Warrior, the big hit from this one. It was interesting though when I was listening to it. The last track on side one, I was listening to it. I was like, well, wait a minute, I think I know that one. The song "Only the Young," which was actually a Journey hit. But this is the first time, the first presentation of this song was on this album. Journey would release it as a single, I think a year later, on the Vision Quest soundtrack. But this is the first appearance of the track on this one. So yeah, Scandal featuring Patti Smythe, great power pop. Interesting, this band didn't have a lot of albums. They only really had a few albums, so really not too many hits. But now this is not necessarily a promo copy, but it's listed as a demonstration not for sale copy, and you should be able to see that there. But it's interesting, this stamp or this imprint goes all the way through. Thankfully it doesn't affect the vinyl, but I'll show you what I mean. Check it out here. The lyric sheet's included, and yeah, sure enough, it's on. You might not be able to see that, but you feel the imprint there, and then it actually goes right through on the plastic as well. I've never quite seen that before. I mean, you've seen where they, punch a hole in it or something like that, but it goes all the way through. Thankfully, it didn't affect the vinyl. And when I picked this up, the shrink wrap was still pretty much on it. It was a little frayed here on the side, so I don't think this album's been played since 1984. But yeah, good album overall. And yeah, terrific singer too. Okay, producer extraordinaire Todd Rundgren. We go back to 1978 on the Bearsville Records label, and I want to get the album title right. Todd Rundgren's Hermit of Mink Hollow. And this is great. Again, great power pop on this one, great production. And he does the Phil Collins on this by doing everything. He does the vocals, all the instrumentation. He does absolutely everything. The big hit from this was Can We Still Be Friends? But overall, a good album overall. Now, sadly, the inner sleeve wasn't included on this one, which had the lyrics, but I can show you the label on the Bearsville label, and picked this up for fairly cheap. And on the one side, it looked a little scratchy, so I was a little concerned, but it does play okay. So there's not any major issues going on with that one. Okay, so with YouTube rules and regulations, I would think I have to be careful with this, so I will get this one ready for presentation. Talking about Supertramp's second album from 1971, Indelibly Stamped. Okay, so there you go, the full color album cover. They also released black and white versions of this album cover, which I never really understood, but there you have the front cover, and then the back. Here we go. And yeah, their second album from 1971, and this is a good album overall. Playing well and rocking pretty good on this one. It's interesting with this band, for compilations and greatest hits, usually it's Crime of the Century and everything after that, but they don't tend to feature stuff from their first two albums, which is a real shame. And I can show you the inner sleeve on this one. A nice picture of the band. Roger Hodgson playing bass guitar on tracks on this one. I think after this he would mainly focus on, of course, vocals and keyboards and guitar. But yeah, good album overall. And I can show you the inner sleeve here. It's a little ripped, as you can see here, but I think this is at least original A&M sleeve. And then the album, and it plays well. And was very pleased to find something extra in this album. As I was taking a look at it. I was trying to get the album back into the jacket, and it felt like there was something else extra in there. Inside is a receipt. Now, this is quite special for me. In Stratford, years back, there was a store simply called Music, and they featured tons of great vinyl albums that were new, of course, at the time, and also lots of stereo equipment, the latest up-to-date stereo equipment. This store was pretty much through the 70s and 80s. It was located at 16 Ontario Street, right in downtown Stratford. They did briefly move out of town for a while and then closed up. But it was the place to pick up new vinyl and the latest stereo equipment. And inside, this album is a receipt from that store, from Music on Ontario Street, Stratford. And this person picked up Atomic Rooster and this album. This is dated November 5th, 1975. And they paid $5.71 for Supertramp and $5.61 for Atomic Rooster. But yeah, this was just inside the album. So what just a neat find from 1975. So yeah, this album came out in 71, so this necessarily would not be an original pressing, but pretty close to it. There you go. Okay, some 60s stuff. The Righteous Brothers. Greatest hits. And nobody rocks white pants like these guys. And this is pretty much the definitive greatest hits. You see this album quite a lot. And it's got You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin', also Unchained Melody, You're My Soul and Inspiration. Great vocals, great production, and on the Polygram Polydor label. Okay, and some great musicianship on this one. We're going back to 1973 for Jeff Beck, Tim Bogart, and Carmine Appice for their album together. And a great musicianship overall. You know, you got Jeff Beck, Carmine Appice, enough said on that one, from 1973 on CBS, on the Epic label. Okay, here's a band from Scotland, and this is certainly a band, when I mention this group to people, they often tend to go, huh? Never heard of them, but this is a great power pop album from 1979, talking about the Head Boys, and this is their debut and only album. They broke up shortly after this. They did record stuff for a second album, and they finally released it just a few years ago as the Lost Album, or the Second Lost Album, something like that. But this is on RSO, the Robert Stigwood label, through Polygram. Just great full-on power pop. I love the opening track, The Shape of Things to Come, Kicking the Cans. There's a cringeworthy song or two on the second side, but then this last song on side 2, Take It All Down, is great. And yeah, it's a fun album. I've always liked this album. And just, yeah, great power pop, The Head Boys from 1979. Okay, a little Canadian content for you once again. We've got Nick Gilder and City Nights from 1978. In case you don't know who this guy is, Nick Gilder, he was the lead vocalist with Sweeney Todd, and they had the hit Roxy Roller. He then left the band for a solo career and scored a big hit with this one. Hot Child in the City is the big song from this one that still gets a lot of radio play, and also the song Here Comes the Night, not to be confused with the Van Morrison and Them song. But yeah, from 1978, again, nice vocals, good power pop overall. And a fun fact, when Nick Gilder left Sweeney Todd, he was replaced by a young Bryan Adams. And of course, Bryan Adams then went on to quite a solo career as well. But yeah, Nick Gilder, City Nights. Okay, a compilation for you this time. I think this is their first compilation. This is Three Dog Nights, Golden Biscuits. And I love these pseudo-psychedelic artwork there. And yeah, so this one's got, it doesn't have Joy to the World on this one. I think this covers their first 4 albums, something like that. And I think Joy to the World was released around this time, so not included on this one. But it's got Easy to Be Hard, Mama Told Me Not to Come, Eli's Comin', the song One. And I'll show you the inner sleeve there, or the gatefold. See if we can do a full presentation of the cover there. There you go, and then the gatefold. And certainly it was at this time when a lot of bands in the 70s all felt the need to pose nude for whatever reason. Never quite understood that. But this is picture. Look at this tree here too. It's like, what is this, H.R. Puffin stuff or something? What's going on here? And we got that here. And it says on the back here, poster included, and thankfully the poster is included. As you well know, that's not often the case. Posters get taken out and put on bedroom walls, that sort of thing. So yeah. And there you go. Kind of neat. All right, and I've also been listening, I'll just briefly mention from my last video, John Lennon's Imagine. Great box set. Absolutely love it. And thanks for Jove for leaving a comment that, yes, it was actually Yoko Ono who took the cover photo, not Andy Warhol, my bad. And yeah, Yoko took the photo on the front and back. But certainly on here, the bonus tracks, like the element mixes, are absolutely wonderful, where they just focus on various instruments. Strings only for Imagine is absolutely beautiful. And the piano, bass, and drums only for Jealous Guy, so you focus on Nicky Hopkins playing. Wonderful. So that's going to wrap it up for this edition. Have yourself a great weekend. Bye-bye.